Imagine that you have been given the gift of a child who possibly, through no fault of your own, has been born with a debilitating birth defect. Now imagine that there is an organization who exists for one reason and one reason only: to provide resources and conduct research to benefit children and the families of children who have been born with birth defects. Birth defect research for children is such an organization, and I had the distinct opportunity to serve as the organization's volunteer marketing and outreach director. The organization is doing very well serving its purpose to provide resources and research. But as we can all attest, perfection is impossible to achieve, although they are trying very hard. Shortly after beginning my work with the nonprofit organization, it became apparent to me that the organization was struggling to get its message across via social media channels such as Facebook, Twitter, and other social media sites, including fundraising sites such as causes.com. I found that there were many reasons behind this problem, some of which did not have solutions. Through my research on behalf of the organization, I have attempted to begin to decipher how the story will progress. I began to ask myself, what is it that makes an organization successful at using social media? What systems need to be in place for an organization to achieve success? And which disciplines need to be involved in order to create and maintain such cohesive organizational cooperation amongst these channels? To begin to approach the research question, I knew through my interdisciplinary education that it was important to find out which disciplines were involved in the issue. After contemplating this question for a bit, it became apparent to me that there are three major disciplines involved. Those disciplines were marketing, public relations, and health sciences. The discipline of marketing brings to the table a set of skills which differ from the other two disciplines, which include professional selling, advertising, and other sales techniques. Public relations, although an offset of marketing in a sense, brings to the table its own set of unique approaches, most of which involve maintaining the desired image of the organization. Public relations focuses less on numbers and more on the emotional and human value. Lastly, health sciences have the knowledge and data on what the organization does in the individuals it supports and benefits. Although this discipline is very knowledgeable on the science aspects, it has no intrinsic knowledge of sales techniques, nor does it have the skills necessary to promote or maintain the image of an organization, which is a factor that I had to consider. And so with this information in mind, I began my quest to find out what causes some organizations to be successful getting their message across social media channels and others to fall short on such attempts. I began researching this and found many interesting details, some of which I would like to share with you today. I knew from my research that successful organizations have to spend money in order to generate exposure on social media. Due to this fact, I realized that it would be necessary for the organization to utilize some of its annual budget on purchasing services from some of the social media sites, such as Facebook, if they were to generate more exposure. With proven marketing techniques, this goal would be very achievable. For instance, Facebook has a program in place where an organization can pay to increase their exposure tenfold, an option which would make sense for birth defect research for children. In addition to these proven marketing techniques, it has been my experience that proper data mining and surveying approaches would be highly beneficial to the organization. If this organization knew exactly what its audience wanted to see and what content it would actually access, it would be better use of the organization's time and money and would generate a more effective and successful result in terms of social media exposure. Although I will not be around to see many of the successes of this organization in the future, I am confident that the organization were to apply these suggestions to their current marketing strategy, while also combining other strategies such as search engine optimization. The exposure that they greatly desire and deserve is certainly achievable. I'm honored to have the opportunity to work with such a unique and certainly needed organization, and I hope the suggestions that I have provided will help along as it continues to provide services and research for children and families who have been affected by birth defects.